Ready for a deep dive into a world most people don't even think about.
It's a side of live events that's crucial but often overlooked.
We're talking about the audio production technicians.
The ones who make sure every note sounds perfect.
And we've got some amazing RoleCatcher excerpts here that really get into the nitty-gritty of what they do.
How they break into the industry, how their careers progress. It's fascinating stuff.
So let's set the stage here. What exactly does an audio production technician do?
You're at a concert, right?
Nah.
Thousands of screaming fans.
Okay, I can picture it.
The band is about to launch into their biggest hit.
The energy is building.
And suddenly the lead singer's microphone goes dead.
Oh no. Total silence.
That's when the audio production technician swoops in to save the day.
So they're like the superheroes of live music.
Kind of. They're the ones who have to troubleshoot those technical glitches under immense pressure.
With thousands of people watching.
Exactly. And it's not just about fixing things when they go wrong. A huge part of the job is setting up all that audio equipment in the first place.
Right, making sure everything's working perfectly before the show even starts.
And making sure it's all calibrated for the specific venue.
Because I'm guessing a stadium concert is a whole different animal than a small club gig.
You got it.
Yeah.
Every space has different acoustics, and every artist has their own preferences.
So the technician has to be adaptable.
Big time. RoleCatcher actually uses the phrase sonic architects.
Ooh, I like that. So they're not just like turning knobs, they're shaping the sound to match the artist's vision.
Exactly. Like RoleCatcher says, understanding artistic concepts is key.
So tell me more about that. What does it actually mean to shape the sound?
Well, think about all the different instruments in a band. You've got drums, bass, guitars, vocals, each one creating its own frequency range.
Okay.
The audio production technician uses a mixing console to adjust the volume and tone of each element.
The mixing console, that big board with all the sliders and buttons?
Yeah, that's the one. It can look intimidating,
Yeah.
but it gives the technician precise control over every single detail.
So it's like they're conducting an orchestra of sound, making sure each instrument blends together perfectly.
Perfect analogy. And just like a conductor, a good audio production technician develops a really refined ear.
So they're listening for things that most people wouldn't even notice.
Absolutely. They can hear how different frequencies interact and adjust the mix accordingly.
Wow. That's incredible.
But even with all the technical wizardry, sometimes the most important skill is knowing how to really listen.
To the music.
To the music, to the performers, and even to those subtle cues from the audience.
Like if the crowd's energy is lagging, they might adjust the mix to pump things up a bit.
Exactly. It's all about reading the room, adapting the sound to the energy of the moment. And speaking of adapting, RoleCatcher highlights just how important adaptability is in this line of work.
I bet. Because every gig is different.
Totally. Every venue has its own quirks, and sometimes things go wrong in the most unexpected ways.
Oh, I'm sure there are stories.
Plenty. In fact, RoleCatcher mentions this one situation where a technician was working a show at this historic theater. Beautiful venue, but notoriously old wiring.
Oh, I can already sense trouble.
Right. So the band is mid-set,
Yeah.
the energy's electric, and suddenly the entire stage goes dark.
No.
No lights, no sound, nothing.
Did a fuse blow or something?
That's what everyone thought. But this quick-thinking technician, he knew it had to be something more. He starts checking everything and realizes it wasn't even a problem with the sound system.
What was it?
A blown fuse in the building's main electrical panel.
Wow. So not even technically his responsibility, but he saved the day.
Exactly. He knew just enough about the venue's electrical system to isolate the problem, replace the fuse, and have the whole place back up and running in minutes.
What a rock star. But it just goes to show it's not always enough to just be good at the technical stuff.
You got it. There's a certain level of resourcefulness and on-the-spot problem solving that's crucial in this field.
So you need a mix of technical expertise, creativity, and a healthy dose of street smarts.
That's a great way to put it. And those qualities become even more important as an audio production technician starts to climb the career ladder. And that's a great segue to our next topic because RoleCatcher had a lot to say about the different stages of an audio production technician's career.
They did, and it made me think, is it anything like starting out in a band? You know, playing small gigs, working your way up to bigger stages.
You're spot on with that analogy. A lot of aspiring audio production technicians start out at smaller venues. Think local bars, school events, community theaters, those kinds of places.
So less rock star lifestyle, more like setting up mics for the high school battle of the bands.
Exactly. But those early gigs are so important. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that.
Because that's where you learn the ropes.
You got it. It's all about building a foundation, setting up microphones and speakers, running cables, do those basic sound checks.
I bet attention to detail is key at that stage.
It's everything. One misplaced cable or a loose connection can throw off the entire sound. RoleCatcher even gave an example. One technician talked about starting out as an assistant, and he would meticulously label every single cable in his kit.
Smart move. Especially in the heat of the moment when you're trying to fix a problem.
Right. And that attention to detail, that meticulousness, it follows you throughout your career. You move on to bigger venues, more complex setups, but those core principles, they always stay with you.
So you're saying that someone who starts by setting up mics for a local band could eventually be running sound for a major music festival?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher actually told a story about a technician who did just that. Started out as a volunteer at a community radio station, learned everything he could about audio engineering, worked his way up to bigger and bigger events.
That's incredible. What kind of skills did he have to develop to make that leap?
Well, one of the biggest things RoleCatcher highlighted was mastering that mixing console we were talking about.
Right, because as the events get bigger, I'm guessing those audio setups get way more complex.
Exponentially. We're talking hundreds of channels, multiple speakers, really intricate microphone arrangements, a whole different ballgame. But beyond the technical stuff, there are other skills that become crucial as you progress.
Like what?
Well, for one, the ability to work effectively as part of a team. On a big production, you're not a one-man show anymore. You're coordinating with lighting designers, stage managers, the artists themselves.
It's like a perfectly synchronized dance, making sure everything comes together seamlessly.
Exactly. And that requires strong communication skills, the ability to stay calm under pressure, and, let's face it, a good dose of diplomacy when things inevitably don't go according to plan.
So you're not just a technician, you're a bit of a diplomat, a problem solver, maybe even a therapist when those rock star egos start to clash.
You said it. It's a multifaceted role, for sure. But you know what I find really fascinating about this career path? It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
What do you mean?
Well, some audio production technicians, they thrive in that live event world. The energy of the crowd, the thrill of those real-time decisions. But others might find their calling in different areas of the audio industry.
So it's like a launching pad. You get this incredible foundation in audio engineering, and then you can branch out in different directions.
That's it. Some might move into studio work, becoming recording engineers, helping artists capture their music in its purest form. Others might specialize in a particular genre, like live theater or classical music, where the acoustic challenges are totally unique.
So it's all about finding your niche, the place where your skills and your passions intersect.
Precisely. And that's where RoleCatcher comes in with some really insightful advice for navigating this job market.
Okay, let's talk about that. You mentioned earlier that AI is changing the game for job seekers. What did RoleCatcher have to say about that?
Well, they made a really interesting point.
Yeah.
With the rise of all these AI-powered recruitment tools, your CV, it needs to be more than just a list of your skills and experience.
It's like those algorithms are scanning for keywords, trying to match candidates with the perfect job.
Exactly. So RoleCatcher really emphasized the importance of tailoring your CV to each specific job you apply for, highlighting the skills and experience that are most relevant to that particular role.
So instead of sending out a generic resume to every recording studio in town, you need to do your homework and understand what each employer is looking for.
And the cool thing is, RoleCatcher actually has AI-powered tools that can help you do that. They can analyze job descriptions, identify the keywords that matter most, even suggest improvements to make your CV stand out from the crowd.
Wow. It's like having a digital career coach in your back pocket.
Right. It's all about using technology to your advantage in this job market that's more competitive than ever.
So let's say you've nailed the CV, you've landed the interview. Any tips from RoleCatcher on how to ace that crucial conversation?
Oh, they do. And this is where their platform really shines. They have this huge library of practice interview questions tailored specifically to different roles in the audio industry. So whether you're interviewing for an entry-level assistant position or a senior sound engineer role, you can go in totally prepared for those curveball questions.
That's amazing. I bet it's super helpful to practice those answers beforehand, get comfortable talking about your skills and experience.
It makes a huge difference. And you know what's even cooler? They have AI-powered feedback on your practice answers. You can actually record yourself responding to common interview questions, and their system will analyze your delivery, your content, and give you personalized suggestions for improvement.
That's next level prep right there. It's like having a personal interview coach giving you real-time feedback.
Exactly. And it's all designed to boost your confidence, help you present your best self, and ultimately land that dream job in the audio industry.
It's just amazing to see how technology is being used not to replace human interaction, but to enhance it, to empower both job seekers and employers to make those crucial connections.
Couldn't agree more. But even with all the incredible tools and resources available today, there's one thing that will always be essential in this field: a genuine passion for sound and music.
You're preaching to the choir here. I can't imagine someone pursuing this career if they didn't absolutely love the power of music.
Right. It's that passion that fuels those long hours, those problem-solving marathons, those moments of pure magic when you help create an unforgettable sonic experience.
And speaking of unforgettable experiences, that brings us to our final thought for today's deep dive into the world of audio production technicians. So we talked about the technical skills, the problem solving, all that. But where does the art come into being an audio production technician?
Ah, the million-dollar question. You can teach someone how to use the equipment, how to wire everything up, but that feel for sound, that's something else entirely.
So are some people just born with it? Like, is there an innate talent involved?
I think so, yeah. Some people just have a knack for it. That natural ability to hear all the little nuances, to anticipate problems before they even arise, to make those split-second decisions that elevate a performance from good to amazing.
So they're not just technicians. They're artists in their own right, sonic storytellers.
Yes, they shape the emotional journey of the music. And that's where that deep understanding of artistic concepts comes into play. Because a good audio production technician isn't just thinking about the technical stuff, they're thinking about the overall impact on the audience.
It's about creating an experience, right? Where the sound actually makes you feel something.
Exactly. And that's why the best audio production technicians, they often end up working very closely with the artists.
Yeah.
It becomes a real collaboration, a shared pursuit of sonic excellence.
Because ultimately they both want the same thing, to connect with the audience, to move them.
Exactly. And that's something that no AI can ever replicate. That human connection, that shared energy. And the audio production technician plays a vital role in making it happen.
It's like they help create the magic of a live performance.
They do. And it's a role that's always evolving, too.
Mhm.
With technology changing so rapidly, new sound systems, immersive audio virtual reality concerts, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. But even with all that, it seems like that human element, the passion, the creativity, those will always be essential.
Absolutely. Because in the end, it's not about the gear, it's about the experience. It's about creating something special that stays with people long after the music stops.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of audio production technicians.
It's been fun.
It really has. We've
Wow.
explored the technical skills, the creative challenges, the absolute importance of human connection in a world that's becoming increasingly dominated by technology.
It really makes you appreciate all the work that goes on behind the scenes to create those amazing experiences.
It does. So next time you're at a concert, take a second to think about all the people working behind those flashing lights behind the speakers.
The ones who make it all come together.
The unsung heroes of live music.
Cheers to them.